This is page 294. This is the Are You Ready page. It's basically a review. Reviewing some things from Module 9, Order of Operations. It's called Evaluate Expressions. Basically, the review here is it gives you basically an order of operations problem. And there's lots of things to remember here. One, you got to remember what 5 squared means. That means 5 times 5 is 25. You have to solve inside the parentheses and you get 5. I want you to notice here that when you have an 8 right next to this parentheses, it's going to mean 8 times 5. 3 plus 2 is 5, so you do 8 times 5. So if we review those things real quick, there's two different ways you could use this video. You could watch this video for help on these problems, or you could try these problems first and then use the video to check your answers. All right, number 1. I've got 4 right next to 5 plus 6, which is 11. And 4 right next to 11 means 4 times 11. That's 44. So I've got 44 minus 15, and that's 29. Number 2, I've got 6 plus 2 plus 4, that's 6. And 8 right next to 6 is 48. I've got 48 plus 16, which is 64. Number 3, I've got 14 minus 7, that's 7, and 7 right next to 3 is 7 times 3, that's 21. 21 minus 16 is 5. Number 4, I've got kind of two things to do. I've got 8 minus 3, that's 5. So I've got 6 times 5 is 30. And I've got 7 minus 4 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 30 plus 9 is 39. Number 5, I've got 6 minus 5, that's 1. Times 10 is 10. I've got 9 minus 6 is 3. Times 3 is 9. I've got 10 minus 9, the answer is 1. Number 6, I've got 4 plus 5 is 9. Plus 2 is 11. I've got 7 times 11. And I've got 3 plus 5 is 8. Times 6 is 48. So I've got 77 minus 48. Something about that doesn't seem right, but I think it is right. 77 minus 48. I'm going to have to borrow and do 17 minus 8. 17 minus 8 is 9. And 6 minus 4 is 2, 29. That's the answer. Something didn't seem right, but it was. All right, number 7, I've got 8 plus 3 is 11, and I'm going to multiply that by 2, but I also have to do my exponent, which is 4 squared, that means 16. So 2 times 11 is 22, plus 16 is 38. Number 8, I've got 14 minus 8, that's 6, times 7 is 42. Minus, I've got to do 36. 6 times 6 is 36. 42 minus 36 is 6. And number 9, I've got 2 plus 1 is 3. And you're going to be tempted to multiply that by 8, but you're actually not supposed to. You're supposed to do 3 squared first. I've got 2 squared problems to do here. I've got, you know what I'm going to do for number 9 here? I'm going to start over on number 9, and I'm going to put it on a whiteboard so I can be nice and clear about this. This is a really good problem. So I'm going to do number 9 just a slightly bit more slowly here. All right, number 9 is 8 parentheses 2 plus 1, that's squared, minus 4 squared. All right, so let's follow the order of operations. We've got 2 plus 1 is 3, and this 2 goes on the 3 here. And then I've got minus 4 squared. Now you also have this 8 that you want to multiply by 3, right? But 8 times 3 would not go, and it doesn't matter where you put this parenthesis. You could put it here, you could put it on it doesn't matter. That would not go first because this would be multiplying. If you think about PEMDAS, we have to do exponents before we multiply. PEMDAS looks like this. Exponents comes first. So I have 2 exponent problems to do first. 4 times 4 is 16, and 3 times 3 is 9, and now finally you can multiply by 8. 9 times 8 is 72, minus 16 is, it's going to be 56. 12 minus 6 is 6, and I borrowed, so it's 6 minus 1 is 5. The answer is 56. The answer to number 9 is 56. All right, I realize that's a little bit messy. If you need extra help on that, please ask me. Otherwise, maybe watch that twice if you need to. Let's go ahead and check out the bottom of the page. It says connect words and equations. The example says the product of a number and 4 is 32. Product means times. So this right here is that problem, 4 times x. They really should have written it like this, 4x. And it says is 32 equals 32. Man, this is terrible. I cannot believe they did that. They should not have that there. It should be 4x equals 32. Oh well, doesn't matter. Numbers 10 through 15, we're supposed to write an algebraic expression for the word sentence. So they give us words, and we're supposed to write it into a math problem. But we're not going to know the entire math problem because we've got an unknown. And you can tell right here it's going to be a number. That means we don't know. A number, a number, a number. So we're just going to use what are called variables instead of using the number. So watch how that works. Number 10 says a number increased by 7.9 is 8.3. That means an unknown number, something like n. Increased means add. 7.9 is, that means equals 8.3. The answer to number 10 needs to look something very similar to that. Something, a variable, plus 7.9 equals 8.3. Number 11, it's another addition because sum. It says 17 is the sum of a number and 6. So a number could be n plus 6 is 17. 17 is the sum of a number and 6. So there's the sum of a number and 6, and it is equal to 17. Number 12 says the quotient of a number and 8 is 4. Quotient means divide, and we're going to divide that unknown number by 8, and we're going to get 4. Number 13 says 81 is 3 times the number. 3 times the number looks like this, 3 times the number, and it is equal to 81. Number 14, the difference between 31 and a number is 7. That means 31 minus an unknown number is equal to 7. Difference means subtract. If you're wondering where I'm getting these operations from, increased means add, sum means add, quotient means divide, time means times, difference means subtract, and less than means subtract. 8 less than a number. That means 8 is less than the number, which means the number goes first. And 8 less than that number would be, it says right there, is 19. Now, I know those are tricky, but we are going to practice those and get better at those as we go through this module. So good job. All right, so you're done now with page 294. This video is just going to continue on to the next page. We're on the reading startup. This is page 295. It says visualize vocabulary. This top activity right here is actually such a helpful graphic. It's going to help you with the important terms in algebraic expressions. So the very first center one, 4x plus 5, that is called an algebraic expression. That's this one right here. We're using the check words, right? It says use the checkmark words to complete the graphic. This middle one right here is called the algebraic expression, and we're going to build all around that. Algebraic expression. I want to point something out to you. It's not an equation because equation means it has an equal sign. If you see a math problem without an equal sign, it's called an expression. Okay, and this is called an algebraic expression because there's a variable. And so now 4 has a name, x has a name, 5 has a name, and then they all have names. So what are their names? Well, I bet you know this one, the variable. The variable is x. Any letter in an algebraic expression is called a variable. It means it's a number, we just don't know what it is yet. Okay, the number 5 has a name, it's called a constant. Spelled that wrong, constant. Now here's an important one, 4. The number right here that goes with the variable has a special name, it's called a coefficient. The 4 in 4x is called a coefficient. And lastly, 4x and 5 both have a name, they're called terms. All right, so to review, the 4 is called the coefficient, the x is called the variable, the 5 is called the constant, and everything 4x and 5 also. They're both called terms. All right, I want you to try your best to memorize these terms because these are important. All right, let's check out the bottom of the page. Understanding vocabulary, it says match the term on the left to the correct expression on the right, and we're using the preview words. An algebraic expression, number 1, is it a mathematical statement that two expressions are equal? I just said no, because that word equal goes with that word equation. Algebraic expression is a value of the variable that makes the statement true. That is not true. It is C, a mathematical statement that includes one or more variables. A picture of an algebraic expression is a math problem, like this, 4x plus 5, where there's no equal sign. An equation is A, because it's an equal sign. Here's the difference. An equation would be like this. I'm going to give you a picture right over here. An algebraic expression would be like 4x plus 5. An equation is going to be exactly like that, except it would be 4x plus 5, and we'd say is equal to 21, or something like that. Do you see how the equation here has an equal sign? That's the difference between an equation and an expression. Go ahead and ditch this right here. And the last one, the solution is a value that makes the value of the variable that makes the statement true. So 2 equation matches with A, 3 solution matches with B, and 1 algebraic expression matches with C. Okay, good job. You are done with the first 2 pages of this lesson. You may move on.